When I was saved, I went to church with a friend of mine. I was raised Catholic, so I never went to church. And then my marriage just fell apart. So that's when my job became obsolete during the recession. As a software trainer, training's the first thing that companies give up. The relationship was just a bitter battle, and I lost everything. But I had been going to church, and the one message that spoke to me, which is I took the altar call, was the story of Christ and the disciples in the rowboat in the middle of the water, and there's this huge storm, and that's how it felt where I was. I was living in a perfect storm. It was just all these things were clashing together. My career, my relationship, spiritually. So I was just empty. And this message spoke directly to me about He's there with you. You just have to ask for Him. It's so touching to me how He spoke to me then in church. So, okay, I got that message and I reached out to Him and made the altar call, and my life just got worse. The divorce hit. I'm in that battle, and my son dies. My teenage son. So I couldn't even deal with that grief. I was dealing with the battle. I had to get a job. I'm just spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, completely empty. I couldn't handle anything except go to church. One of the services, they announced Financial Peace University. And I thought, well, I'm broke. I need to learn how to really handle my bills well. Every penny is really important right now, so I'm going to think about going to this class, but I didn't have the funds for it. And I heard the message again, and then they announced it a third time, and I just did it. I just felt compelled. Something drove me to sign up for the class. In that moment before I took that class, again, I had no idea how I was going to pay my bills, how I was going to take that next step to get a job. But God was always with me. I feel there's a great difference between the Financial Peace University courses that are offered and other get-out-of-debt programs. One which spoke to my heart was that it's biblical. It's supported by the Bible. Dave Ramsey's ministry guides you through there. And the other programs, while they do have good information, and hopefully, I'm only speaking about the ones that do, intellectually they make sense, but we did not get into debt because we intellectually and logically chose it. One of the first things we learn in that class is who we are. And if we can address who we are, we can work with that, not against it. Before FPU, I was just spending on credit cards. If I needed something, I had to put it on a credit card because I didn't have any cash, and I was in debt. I was in probably about $30,000 in debt with credit cards. I made all these decisions that seemed normal. They actually just seemed like what any normal person would do. After FPU, I was able to learn the skills to be able to get farther along in 6 months than I had in 30 years. My biggest takeaway from FPU is that it's not my money. It taught me how to really focus on God's priorities. I really handled His money poorly before. So going forward, my obligation, my promise to the Lord is that I'm really going to do as good a job as I can. It's really made a huge impact on me. I feel like before FPU, I was in a pit of despair. I was in a deep, dark pit. And there's a lot of ladders that are provided to get out of that. Some are unethical, some are illegal, some are immoral, some are just normal, but they're just wrong. There was one ladder that I took out of that pit, and that was FPU. And that pit was very scary. as you're climbing out of there, you really don't see where you're going. You don't see, you have to have faith. But what I realized was that wasn't FPU providing that ladder. The ladder was FPU, but it was God reaching down, pulling me out. FPU is a ministry. I didn't feel that at the time, but I know now. The FPU classes and the courses brought me closer to God.